we proceed, Tamara is just preparing her chair, making it safe and homely. Next time I will hoover it beforehand.
You mean you haven't already?
No, I haven't, no. But it's fine, everyone. It's only Freya, Tracy and Jodie who have sat on it. So are you saying that they smell?
No, they just left dirt behind.
Oh, okay. They just left a residue. Yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah, and then this is my chair. I always sit on this chair. It's my little grumpy old man seat.
But you're in it.
Yeah, because I'm a grumpy old man. Trapped in the body of a 19-year-old girl.
Bailey just asked me, you will cut things out, won't you? Bailey just said to me, Tamara, what's your view on trans people?
No, then that's a topic.
And I said, it's their choice.
Yeah.
And he said, good.
Yeah, absolutely. We have nothing against trans people here. I just think we can leave this in. You know, it's a valid topic in today's modern world. People that visit here can be whatever they want to be, whether that's male, female, non-binary, gender fluid, anything else there is out there. Yeah, feel free. But anyway, that's not a topic we're going to divulge into today because that could get very, very controversial. And I was about to say nobody cares. That's not what we mean. We just mean people watching this video aren't here to discuss modern day affairs such as being transgender, which is an incredible thing if that's what you want to do. But that's not why we're here today. So I'm here with Tamara, who's Tracy's much younger, much more graceful sister. As you can see by the mug, is that like fine china?
Yes, it's porcelain.
Oh, okay, yeah. Tamara only drinks out of porcelain, like the Queen. Yeah. Yeah, she's basically like she is the queen here. Like you can even see how you've sat in the chair. Like I've just kind of.
Well, I decided not to wear a dress so that I'd flash like you did.
I did not flash. The angle was just a little unflattering. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So you haven't always been on the farm from. No, so let me think of the timeline roughly. So Tracy moved onto the farm with her then ex-partner. Well, he wasn't her ex at the time, but he is now. But moving past that, he is Bailey's father. But anyway, they moved onto the farm early 2000s. And then, so the idea was that Sylvia and Sandy, your parents, were going to look after the inside, and Tracy and her ex were going to look after the outside and the horses. So they ran a B&B in the house, and then the horses did whatever the horses were doing here. And then back in, was it 2016? 17. You sadly lost your dad, Sandy, who was a massive influence on this place. It was the heart and soul of everything he did in his life.
Absolutely.
It was his number one passion. And that was then when you basically left your life behind down south. You just went, right, and then that's how it happened. You basically just came up here.
Yeah, there was a bit of thought I put into it.
Oh, yeah. But no, you did. You literally left your previous life behind. You haven't left the heels at home. You know, you've brought them with you. They just haven't come out the boxes. So you could have worn them today.
I could have done, but yeah.
Yeah, because as you can tell, Tamara likes to be graceful and do things properly. So it was a massive come down for her having to swap, the nice heels and the jumpsuits for wellies and raincoats. But I think you've adapted rather well.
Yeah, I'm struggling a bit with the mud.
Okay, the mud.
I knew that mud was going to be a bit of an issue for me, but yeah,
Yeah, and what were you in your past life? It seems like you lived down south. You still have a child. Your child's actually fully grown and is on track to being a millionaire. That's not even an exaggeration. Tia is. Can we say that? Well, yeah, she is on track to be a millionaire.
She's doing really well.
Yeah, she is.
She's doing really well.
Tia is a go-getter. So yeah, you parented a very successful business lady.
Yes.
So you live with Tia. You had a house together, and you worked in pharmaceutical, didn't you?
No, Tia works in the pharmaceutical world. I've worked in many different things over the years, but my last job was in property management.
Wasn't there also one thing where you worked as like a receptionist on a Botox thing?
I worked for that's
what I was thinking.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was the last job I remember, was when you because you'd come up and you'd tell everyone about how, like, Didn't you even get to see some of the procedures?
I did.
Yes.
So if anybody had said to me at any stage throughout my life that I'd be working for a cosmetic surgery company, I would have laughed in their face. But you know, it was a really rewarding and challenging job.
Really?
It was brilliant, but really hard work.
Because what did you do? Like, obviously you didn't get the lab coat on and do the procedures. Like, you didn't enhance or...
I was a consultant. So I had lots of training, and even went, and I used to be the most squeamish person ever.
Yeah.
But I actually went in and watched a couple of procedures. Liposuction. And it was amazing. Yeah. So basically, people who wanted to have a procedure would come to the clinic. Myself and some other consultants would talk them through why they wanted to have it. We sort of had to assess their reasons, take down their full medical history, talk them through the options, etc., etc.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then right before that, your original history and background, you were a ballerina.
Well, I always wanted from the age of 6, I think it was, to be a ballet teacher.
Yeah.
And so, I did that. I went to a boarding school to train, and then I went to college, and then I taught for many years. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you even have your own dance school at one point?
No, I worked with a lady called Elvira, who I'd sort of grown up with her daughters in the same village. And I ran a school with her. And so I taught ballet, tap, modern jazz.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there ever parts of you that miss dancing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I miss dancing myself to myself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't mean like teaching people that you miss going, straighten that leg. Although I'm not sure.
I miss
sure
that. I
that's
was
not
good
how
at
you
that.
taught. What?
I wasn't quite as aggressive as that, I don't think. I
No.
hope. I miss the teaching though, and I love helping people develop in whatever they're doing and helping to learn. But yeah, my body is so old, and since I had a slip disc, I can't remember what year that was, then I think if I fell over, I'd snap in half.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was you. But I think you still should dance. You know, you can just shut yourself here and come into the infrared. You can play the music on Siri.
There's lots of things I should do.
Yeah. Or you could do the yoga in here.
Yeah, I was thinking of starting yoga next year.
Yeah, you could do balletical yoga in the friendship barn. Like you just, I don't know, like you just come in here, you just shut the doors.
We could limber up together, Holly.
Yeah, before we ride. So yeah,
you've got a dress on, remember?
There is, of course, I've got a heel, but the swinging of the leg,
loosening the hips.
Yeah, okay. It's not going to work with these, and I've got words to do. And yeah, there's also because I learned this actually that I used to think the hip circles go like this. Okay, the heels still aren't very good, but now I learned it's about going tighter and smaller and really.
And if you bend your knees slightly and keep your body from your waist up still, you're isolating your hips. So that's the idea.
Kind of.
You can move your hips as much as you like, but try and keep your top half still. Bend your knees. You can move your hips more than that, Holly, I've seen.
Well, like this, kind of.
Yeah.
There we go. And the other way. Yeah, so that's how you move your hips, everybody. Keep them isolated. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, but I think it's interesting how both you and Tracy, completely different sectors, but you've always, it's that kind of, not sport, I don't want to call it sport, but you train people to dance and Tracy trains the horses. It's that same, you had a passion and then you transferred it.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, I'd not thought of it like that. Yeah.
And I suppose even though you're not involved in ballet anymore, it will have shaped a massive part of who you are as a person.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was very strict. I had a very strict teacher.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think, I mean, I'd like to think the ballet world it's changed with the times now, and not that I know the ins and outs of it, but do you think there was anything there kind of that was almost toxic that had negative effects on you as a person?
I had a ballet teacher who bullied me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would never happen in today's world.
No.
She was, not a nice person.
No.
And I used to go home in the car every evening after, and I went to classes 5 times a week. I would be in tears in the back of the car. She was horrid. But for the love of dancing.
Yeah, you carried on.
Yeah. And I think as a child, I didn't know that it was wrong.
Yes.
So
you blame yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was never good enough.
No.
And in fact, as a dancer and as athletes know, is you're never quite good enough.
No.
So you're always pushing yourself to do more and more and more. But you're never good enough.
No. But then what's good enough? It's subjective. And also I think it's always important to measure what's good enough against yourself compared to other people. Because I think that's where social media now is once over, you just do your thing, and other than people that you'd physically meet and see in person, you'd have no idea what anyone else was doing. Whereas now you open Instagram and it's like you see all these other things, and it's like, I think even us doing what we do with the horses here, it's like, and you know, with renting out the farmhouse and getting business that way, you go on social media and you're like, oh well this person's doing this, they've got this amount of bookings, and it's like
I'm not great with social media. I try and stay away from it. Tracy and you and Freya are very, very good at it, and I find it distracting. And not necessarily healthy for me.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you mean. I think it's something that has to be used carefully. But you know, going on to when you moved onto the farm, 2017, how do you think it was for you kind of adapting? Because I kind of always see it that you kind of came up here with a new perspective. Like you'd always lived quite an urban, clean cut, shopping and like Selfridges lifestyle, and then like coming up here, it's completely different. And not only that, I always remember you saying that you know, obviously you always used to come up and visit here, and you always used to come up and visit as an outsider and think, well, what is everyone doing? Why are they so busy all the time? And then you got here and you're like, I'm one of those people now, I get it. Like,
well, I think when everybody moved up onto the farm, yes, it was Dad's passion throughout his life. He absolutely adored this place. And when I used to come and visit, I mean, when I first came up, you know, there was no central heating.
Really?
Yeah, the kitchen was 1.5 meters wide by about 5 meters long.
I remember that. It was.
Do you remember? The water didn't always run, etc. And every time I used to come up, I used to say, why do you all live such a hard life? You know, it's, you know, I very rarely saw Tracy for long when I came up, because she was always outside, you know, always busy. So I just didn't understand.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because Annie's nose is near to the door behind us.
Come on, Annie.
Yeah.
So I never understood. I mean, I lived in my own house. You know, I did live in a village, but it was easy access to London, easy access to Brighton. Shops were open later than 5 o'clock, 7 days a week, plenty of different places to get food, etc., etc. So Mum and Dad used to say to me, oh, you know, why don't you move up? And I said, no. And when I think back now, it's bad. I used to say, God, I'd die up here. It's the middle of nowhere. But then obviously Dad passed away very suddenly. And a week later, Tracy's...
Sorry, it's not funny. It's just, it's just how it did all happen at once. Like a week later, he walked out.
Well, that was
Tracy's ex. Yeah.
We all sat. Mum, Tracy, and Reinhardt and myself used to sit down in the kitchen at weekends, because I used to drive straight up from Brighton every weekend on a Friday and drive back on a Sunday evening. And we used to sit and talk about what would happen if Dad didn't get better. And they, you know, Tracy was saying, well, come and move up here, you know, it would be great. And even if Dad gets better, you know, you'd be able to work together. But I wasn't sure. I didn't, you know, I'd lived in the same house since 2000, and I had Tia, and our life was down there. It was only after Dad died and I came up the following, he died on the day before my birthday. Then I came up a few days later again, and Tracy said to me that I probably shouldn't say his name.
Well,
anyway, her husband
yeah.
had basically left. He didn't even take any clothes.
No.
So it was at that moment that I knew that I had to move up to help her and Mum. We did have the deal that I said, I'd never stayed in a B&B before. I didn't know anything about B&Bs and running accommodation, and let alone horses. And it was really eye-opening. So it was a massive, massive change of life. I think it took me about a year.
Yeah, to acclimatise.
To acclimatise. And Dad was a very private person, so we didn't know anything about the finances of the farm.
Yeah, to be honest, I remember when I used to visit as a kid, your dad would just kind of disappear into his office, and I was never quite sure what he did in there.
Nobody really knew what he did.
No, he could have been doing he could have been gambling like millions away, playing poker. Not that he did that or would have dreamt of it. He's a very honourable guy, but he could have been.
He could have been doing anything.
Yeah.
No,
I always just remember though, he'd always on a Friday night, without doubt, he was a man of routine, and on a Friday night he'd watch Pointless on the sofa with Esha, the South African bauble that your mum used to have, eating salted crisps, and occasionally just kind of slip one away.
So yes, those that was a while ago now. Yeah. God, how life changes. And I've always been a great believer that life changes within 24 hours, you know, for anybody. And so you just have to go with the flow. And to be honest, I like change. I'm a person who loves change. It's something I enjoy, and I like the challenge.
Yeah. And you have a fair few challenges these days.
Yeah. Well, as I said, the deal was with Mum and Tracy. I said, look, don't know anything about running a B&B, but just so that you know, I can't cook and clean for the B&B. I'm not a great cook at all. I don't find it enjoyable. And of course, you know,
cleaning.
Oh no, and the other thing was to have my own bathroom.
Okay, yeah. Which hasn't happened. No.
Yeah, had to cook, had to clean, and still don't have my own bathroom. Yet.
But it's going to happen.
Is that in
the plans of the shipping? Is there going to be 2 bathrooms?
There's going to be 3.
Oh my God.
There's going to be 3. I'm not sharing a bathroom with Bailey any longer.
Oh, okay. So what? Does that mean you've all got one each?
Yeah.
Oh my, wow.
Yeah. That's why the bedrooms are a bit smaller, but there's 2 en-suites that have shower baths, and then 1 ensuite which other people can access for the toilet and a shower.
Okay.
That's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Wow. So yeah, you're finally the lifelong dream then to have your own bathroom.
God. And no mud.
Yeah.
Well, there'll still be mud, won't there? But
I
won't live in a swamp.
No, you won't be like Shrek. Yeah. And I think as well, like everything you do here, you're responsible for the farmhouse, getting bookings in there, and then otherwise you're busy applying for grants, trying to find alternative ways of funding. You do quite a lot of research, don't you, into, I guess, like when you were, I don't want to call it restoring, but making the cottage, you got work with local builder Michael Russell on that, but you spent an awful lot of your time putting the research into it, the groundwork, I suppose, and finding all the right, I don't know what you'd call them, but like things to build it, like the building resources and materials, and sourcing those, and then overseeing when they arrived. And then you're also, not that we have workwares at the moment, but you find them and kind of sort them out. But yeah, what is your main day-to-day? I mean, I know it changes all the time, but...
Yes, so I suppose I see well, my main job is to ensure that we can all stay at the farm and that the horses have a home for life.
Yeah.
Having, apart from the other jobs that we've spoken about, I also had 2 retail businesses that I ran with a partner. So I'd been in business, and I had also been self-employed as sourcing antiques for people in both in the UK and America. So yeah, I've had different things, quite a variety of things. And actually it was quite lucky that my previous job was in property management, as I used to organise Section 21 building works. So I had a little bit of experience in the building world. So I had something to start with. But yeah, my job basically is to ensure that we can keep this farm in the family for another 100 years.
Yeah, because the horses, they can't pay for themselves.
No, and it was really clear to me when I first moved up, and because I always said to Tracy when I used to visit, I said, you work yourself into the ground and there's no, you don't make a profit. She covers, basically covers looking after the horses. So it's never run as a business. And when I moved up, it became even clearer that, the horses are what Greenbank Farm is about. And it's not a business, it's a community. And so therefore sharing them is keeping them happy and living their best lives is the most important thing, and sharing them with everybody else.
Exactly.
And that's also, the important thing.
Just to have a slight confession actually this morning, in order to keep Anya happy, she had to let herself out and pinch a bit of grass off the front lawn.
I've heard about this. It makes me so cross.
Yeah.
If the horses get out and trash the
grass.
Nice bits of grass that we have.
Trashing is a slight exaggeration. She just added a bit of texture.
Nice try, Holly.
Yeah, it's because we had a new delivery driver that didn't know to shut the barriers behind him. So bless him, he comes running up, he's like, I'm sorry, I think some of the horses have just escaped. I hadn't realised that, you had them out and about. I was like, oh, it's fine.
That's fine.
All the time. And then I go down there and Anya's just on the lawn. But Doubtson was a good girl though. Doubtson didn't stand on the lawn.
Right,
Doubtson didn't participate.
Who was it? Renska who trashed it the other week, and I had to go around stamping all the hoof prints down.
It was Renska that added texture to the lawn the other week. Yes.
Yes.
But keeping the horses happy, the community.
Yes, and then the businesses that we run, or I run here, is obviously accommodation side of the house. So there was a lot of work to do, because that's what Dad's plan was, is that to rent out the farmhouse, to provide an income to pay the bills of the house and everybody living here. That's obviously been a challenge, and there's always work to be done. It's a money pit, as most grade 2 listed buildings. So at the moment, we just about cover the costs. And so many people say to us, do you really like moving out of your home and other people staying in it? Absolutely. It's those people that allow us to live here. So that's why, whether it's accommodation or the horses, we love people to come up. We genuinely love people to come and share it with us.
Yeah, and I think as well, once you've got your own home built to live in, I think renting out the farmhouse, well, it's nice anyway, but it will become so much nicer for you, because instead of thinking, well, someone else is in my house, you can look at it that someone else is in there creating memories with their family, much like we did, and it makes the house more special.
Oh, it does.
And I think I think as far as I know, most people that stay there respect it, and that's what matters really, is that I think it's whenever someone stays there, as long as they respect it, and especially on Airbnb, that it's not like a commercial holiday let. That's not what it was purposely for. It is somebody's.
It's still our home.
Yeah.
I've still got, there's 2 wardrobes in my bedroom, and one of them's locked. I've still got a load of clothes in there. You know, we keep stuff in the kitchen. And obviously we do move into the house if we've got a minimum of a 6-week clear period. Otherwise it's too much effort to move in and out, and it's a big house to clean, to the standard that I like it to be cleaned. So we do still live in it, but it would be nice that when we do come out of it, that we're not in a damp old static caravan in the middle of a bog.
Which you won't be by the end of next year. You'll have your own bathroom.
Remind me which bank we're going to raid.
I was thinking HSBC. We can raid Lloyd's because our loyalty has to be with the Black Horses. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we've got to go HSBC or Barclays. So that is what you do. And
so renting the house out, and the farm is owned by a trust, of which Tracy and myself are the trustees, and keeping the accounts running. We literally scrape by from month to month with all of the two businesses and what I call the community, the Frisian village. We literally just scrape by, and it's a constant worry. So my aim has always been just to have a regular income.
Yeah.
Then I might not have to take so many sleeping tablets.
Be financially secure.
Yeah.
And I think that will happen one day. You know?
It will.
It's going to come via the YouTube channel.
Is it?
Yeah, that's how we're going to make our millions. But no, and I think another thing for me and everything you do, I think you're a very creative person. It's like the cottage was done to a very nice standard, and it wasn't just like you kept the character there. It wasn't just soulless inside. Like you come into not that it was a new build, but you know what I mean, houses that have been redone or done modernly, and there's no character or nothing personal about it. It's just, this just looks like an IKEA show home. Whereas you've always been very good at preserving the character and keeping the history, but also keeping it modern as well. So it's not literally stuck in the past. It's both.
I have a huge love of antiques, especially furniture.
Is that because you are one?
It is, yes. I'm a very fragile antique, Holly.
Can't be touched.
But thank you. No, and I'm a great believer. And our great grandfather used to live in what we now call the cottage that Mum lives in, and the fireplace in there, and you know, it needed lots and lots of repair, and we needed somewhere to stay when we all moved out of the house. And so my aim was to keep it as original as it was, where it was a workshop and carriage store. And I like contrasts. So I wanted it to look very plain on the outside and very workshop-like. But I wanted it to be very wow when you walked in.
Which it is nice. And the shipping's going to come as well.
Yeah, I haven't decided on that.
And your little stained glass window you made is going to go in Tracy's bedroom. Made a stained glass window. It's very, very good. Well,
it's just a stained glass panel, and it took me a long time.
It might be small, but it's still a window. Windows can be any size, not any dimension. You know, are you saying that windows aren't allowed to take any shape or form they want to?
Windows can be like people.
They can, they can be any shape,
size, colour.
They are.
Whatever.
So you're creative, and I think I've covered everything on my little card here. So you see, look, it's professional. See, it says the Frisian experience in it, and it's got a picture of Femma with Bella on. But no, I think little baby Bella. But other than that, I think the thing I was going to ask you is, we've talked quite a lot about the vision for the horse aspect of this place, which everything does interlink. But from what would be horses aside, and finances aside, what would be your ultimate dream or vision for this place?
Well, it is all generally related to the horses. Obviously, yes, my vision is a steady income from whatever area it is. I think with accommodation and the horses, you're never really going to get steady income.
No.
It's always going to be variable. I continue and desperately try to find some way that we can have a steady income from something, whether it be renting out a bit of land, not that we have much to spare. But yeah, so that's the aim. But my vision at the moment, and has been for a while, is an indoor arena, because that will enable you all to do more things during the winter with people. The Frisian village, really, an indoor arena with lots and lots of solar panels on it.
Because we're green.
Well, I try to be eco-friendly, and I have got solar panel lights around the farm, but there's so little daylight this time of year that they only last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I would like for people to be able to come up and stay 1 to 7 nights, people who are coming to see the horses. I'd love to have...
Yeah, I've always loved the idea of retreats. Like little... Yeah, I always think that would be really cool. But and I think all of this stuff, it's like we said in Tracy's, everyone comes up with all of these ideas that we could do, but for now, it's something in the future, it's something that will happen, but for now, it's not just something we can start doing. We can't, on top of everything else, we can't just go, right, okay, we're both going to train to be yoga instructors and throw little yoga retreats. It's like, that it's on top of everything else, it's not possible to do that now. It's like laying
the foundations.
And then, yeah.
And also we have, I mean, lots of people have said to me, well, why don't you have pods or something else here? To be honest, money is in really short supply, but if we're going to spend money, we have beautiful grade 2 listed barns that are structurally unsound.
Yeah, that need to be looked after first.
Yeah, and so it makes complete sense in my mind that we would repair the buildings first. It's like our big barn up here. There's one end of the building that has dropped about 1.5 feet. Did that donkeys years ago, but it's not stable. And the floorboards are wearing out and they're rotten. We've got live woodworm up here. That all costs so much money to sort out. But there's only so many hours in the day and there's just us lot here.
Yeah.
And also my vision...
Uh-oh. I'll go and turn it back on again.
My vision is to have on-site, full-time maintenance person and housekeeper / cleaner, living on site, or local people. So we would love to be able to afford to employ enough people to keep the place going.
Yeah, because I think a maintenance guy, and I think because
or woman,
or woman, or maintenance
person.
Yes, yeah. We were talking about this the other day, and it doesn't even necessarily need to be someone full time. It's just someone that's happy to come in, put along, do what needs to be done.
At the moment, there is definitely at least 8 months worth of clearing of brambles. In an ideal world, and then there's the day-to-day maintenance. As everybody knows, I love my tools and I love to potter and do things, but I don't have the time
to spend doing it.
To spend doing that, and I'm also not very good. I'm a budget person, unfortunately.
We're all budget people here. Yeah. So because I think everything else we kind of. And I think someone on admin as well, but as Freya gets older, that's something she can do more.
Absolutely. Freya is really helpful. When she helps me in the office, I can say to her, Freya, could you do me a quick spreadsheet on this and this? Can you look into, recently we applied for a grant for cameras for the place, and matting. And what was the third thing? Cameras, matting, I can't remember the third thing. We got the grant, however, I had to turn around and say, no, we can't use it because we needed to find a big chunk of money to put into the grant to afford the stuff. So again, this is a bit of an issue. There's lots of grants out there for all sorts of things, but it takes time, and the grants aren't 100%. They only cover 40% generally. So
yeah, and I think that is the thing. You know, again, people always go, well, why don't you apply for this or do that? I think, which is lovely, and it's great that people have suggestions for things, but ultimately the time that A goes into applying for it, B, the finances that are then required, it's not a simple, quick thing to do. And I think as well, you know, we sometimes have people offering to do things for us, which is great, and it's really, really lovely and kind of them, and we're so grateful for that.
We are.
But at the same time, we can't always say yes to it because they have to have an understanding of how things work here, and then there's also sometimes the time it takes to show someone else how to do it. Time is in short supply here. You might as well have just done it yourself. So it's nothing's easy.
Difficult. Nothing's easy here. Even if it's just trying to decorate a room, you might start decorating it and the roof falls, ceiling falls in.
Yeah.
Like with the house. So yeah, nothing. I always anticipate an issue. But life's never boring.
No, it's not. But I've got a lot to learn from you, actually. I realise now, because I've growing up, I've always been heavily involved with the horses, so that's what I know. But what I don't know is, I don't know any of the business side of stuff. I don't know the land management, the maintenance aspect, and that's all stuff I need to, as I get older, at least have a fundamental knowledge of, like managing the land and what needs to be, just an understanding that I don't have yet.
There's plenty of time, and you know, I never knew up until 6.5 years ago. I never knew anything about farming, and I mean, it took me. You may remember, it took me 4 or 5 months to do a countryside stewardship application because I had to identify the different grasses.
Yeah.
Sort of guess what our soil was, and oh my God, it was a very, very stressful time. But you know, it was worth doing for various reasons. But definitely. There's plenty of stuff, and I have a little plan in my mind for you, Holly, anyway, which I'll go through with you at some stage.
That is so cool.
But I need to talk to Tracy about it first, and trying to find time to talk to Tracy is quite difficult.
Yeah.
So
well, you could just talk to us both together. I want to know the plan firsthand.
I could do, actually.
Yeah, you could do.
I could.
I could. Yeah. But the plan for me, what? Like throw me off the rock up there.
No, because that would be no good, Holly, because then you'd hurt yourself and you wouldn't be able to do anything. I'm all for preserving you and wrapping you in cotton wool.
Okay, keeping me in good condition, yeah.
Excellent. But that again is my job. Is I hesitantly say health and safety. Holly will never listen to health and safety advice.
Sorry, I will listen to the other stuff you say, but health and safety is not the way I see it. I've survived this long, we all have.
Holly, as everybody knows, farmers have the worst safety record ever, and the equipment we have is vintage, if not ancient. And you know, my aim at the moment is to apply for a grant to get or put towards a gator, so like Peter and Philip have.
Faster?
No, I'll put a restriction of 5 miles an hour on it for you. And that's obviously enclosed, and that means that when we have our lovely visitors to do the Meet the Horses tours, when we have people who are less abled, they'll be able to get in there with you as you drive at 4 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. If I had visitors and I drive really slowly, unless you wanted to go fast, that can be requested.
No, it can't. Holly.
As long as we can still keep the old quad bike as well, because I love it. Really.
No. It takes up too much room. We have too much junk up here. It has amazed me over the years, the amount of skips that we filled with just stuff. And I never understood why farms always had lots of metal and rubbish lying around.
But you see, the thing is, because other than the barn at the top there, it's like round the back, tidying up round there used to be really, really fun because we'd find loads of stuff. Whereas now we've kind of gone through that and it's not fun anymore because it's like, we discover things. Like me and Jodie, we find things and we'd be like, whose is this? I don't know. Well, it's mine now. Which is this now? Like we just kind of take things like there was like sometimes I find rugs that fit my pony, I'd be like, yeah, that's his now. Like, yeah, just odds and ends.
My aim for the top barn up here, where the quad currently lives, is to turn that into an educational space.
Yeah, I think
replace all the floorboards, clean, light, proper electricity in there, maybe a screen, tables, chairs, and it's a space where everybody can come and learn about the Frisians. You might be able to have your little museum in there.
Oh, cool.
But it'll be a really good, usable space.
Yeah, because then I guess it can double up as well. You know, it can be the yoga studio, your dance studio. You know, you can get back into it.
No, I'm not sure all the oak beams are strong enough for that.
Okay. Well, you could just teach people to play gently. You know, it teach them to be light-footed from the beginning, because if you like come down really hard, you're going to fall through the floor. Therefore, you have to learn to be light from the very start.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, that is. Thank you so much for joining me on the Chairs of Joy today.
I'm a bit disappointed I've not got to use the Nerf gun.
Do you want to use it? No one's used it on me. I kind of want it to be used.
No.
Come on.
No.
Do you want to just fire it anyway? Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Aim to, come on.
Nowhere near your face, Holly.
Okay.
See, health and safety. I used to be a good shot.
Oh, yeah, you have to pull the trigger.
I'm pulling the trigger.
No, oh. That bit, I think. Whoa, yeah. Where?
Oh. Yay! Bullseye.
Got two more. Oh no, I think it has to click. Oh no, I think it's because when you pull that. Okay, that works. Excellent. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us in this space. And I think it'll be really nice for everyone, because I know you like to hide from the camera. But no, people will enjoy getting to know you, and I think it'll be good for you as well, because I already know you'll get nice feedback from this, so hopefully it'll give you more confidence to show it more often.
Well, if people want to know more, they can always ask, but I always feel that I have the boring job of talking about.
No, you don't, though, because it's actually
difficult stuff.
Yeah, but difficult stuff is interesting, like soil type analysis.
Oh, don't ask me about that.
Okay, yeah, we don't have time for
Did
that.
Tracy tell you I used to have a proper phobia of worms?
Yes, the hypnotherapy you
had. And I had hypnotherapy
in
my 40s, and it worked, which was mind-blowing. The guy who came round to look at the soil recently, because we're built on rock, obviously, and you can't dig deep. Everywhere we went around the farm, he was digging trying to get his spade down. But he was picking up these big lumps of soil and shoving them in. It felt like he was shoving them in my face, saying, "Look, these are really good." And there's worms wriggling around, and Tracy's looking at me, and I'm thinking, "No, Tamara, you've got over this phobia." But but good soil, because lots of worms.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's a good sign. Well, the worm phobia. Maybe you were like eaten alive by worms in a past life.
No, in primary school we had outdoor toilets. I'm that old. And a boy, little beep, dangled a big fat worm over the toilets that I'd locked myself into. And I think that's where it came from.
Oh my God, whoa.
If I knew his name,
Yeah, Jesus. Isn't that insane that even 40 years later, that still stayed with you, the worm?
More than 40 years later.
Yeah. Wow. So worms have impacts, kids. Leave the worms in the ground.
Yes, they're very good for the ground.
Yeah, I used to have pet worms when I was a child. Me and my friends, we used to keep them in a little wood stump, and we used to build them little houses and stuff.
So you won't ever touch one?
Yeah, we used to touch them, and then this is really disgusting. We used to give them baths in our own spit.
Baths in what?
In our own spit. We were
baths in your own spit.
We were 6 at the time, so you'd get the worm. I mean, this wasn't animal cruelty. The worms weren't harmed in the process. We were only 6, okay? We thought we were being nice to them. we'd like spit in our hands and then gently like rub the worms and then put them back in the ground. That was when we were like 6. So yeah.
I've never heard of that. That's disgusting. I think brother Christopher made a worm sandwich once.
Okay, that's worse. At least I was nice. I was bathing the worms. I never took, and then I put them back in their home nice and clean by my saliva. I never made them into a sandwich.
I'm beginning to feel sick.
Are you? Sorry about that. Yeah. There's some homemade mince pies over there from Anne, if you'd like one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, if you'll excuse me, we're going to have to end now because we're going to go and eat a mince pie. But there is only 4 sleeps to go till Christmas. So you've got our address ready to send our Christmas presents to. Yeah. No, I'm
Ollie.
Yeah, but there are carrots available to buy on the website if you'd like to get the horses one and other things.